This live show is absolutely stacked. Welcome to College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. We talk about everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do as well, if you love everything in college football, please subscribe to our channel. Smash the like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and your friends. If you want to support this rebel outpost, if you want to support the home for the college football sickos with a donation to help us keep the lights on and grow this channel, just hit that $ where you make a comment and I'll get to your super chat as quick as I possibly can. Welcome everybody, and I mean everybody, even those California Golden Bears that broke my heart. Even the Golden Bears are welcome. Everybody's welcome into the studio that sits on the corner, the very corner of Keith Jackson Parkway and Kurt Gowdy Avenue. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to become a legend with your comments and with your phone calls. Look, I warned. How am I going to put this? I know a lot of you, because you tell me in the comment section, you tell me in comment section after the videos and the live shows are over with, you tell me in DMs, you tell me right in public on X, you tell me, Greg, you are so negative. Greg, you are so... I don't even like to listen to you, Greg. You might know some stuff, but man, you just don't. And then I answer the sentence for them. I say, you mean I don't raise pom-poms in the air? I don't blow smoke? I don't do clickbait? I'm not Mr. Smiley Face all the time? Is that what you're saying? But just to let everybody know, because I don't do those things, when I do say that there is big news, and when I do say that there is very positive movement, well, it means something. It means something. And Florida State, the chatter behind the curtain. I haven't just read the public reports. I've asked the questions. I have poked and prodded. This is very, very good news for Florida State. Now, every time I do one of these live shows, every time I touch this subject, I get a lot of blowback. I get it. This is what this show is for you all to yell at me. Every time I do one of these live shows, I get sermons. I get talked to in the chat room. I'm told, Greg. None of these things that you talk about have anything to do with conference affiliation, with conference realignment, with conference expansion, with the media partners. Don't you know, Greg, don't you know that the only thing that matters is viewership numbers? Don't you get it, Greg? Don't you get it? And I say, I guess I don't. I guess I don't, because I've been doing this for a very long time. And you know what does warm my heart? I've had, I don't know how many DMs today by I don't know how many Seminoles out there. By the way, they have forgiven me. Most of the Seminole base seems to have forgiven me because I told you all the truth on June 15th of 2024 and every day since. I said there's no doors closed. I said relationships are important, and to be a viable, breathing, successful, growing, rip the cap off, high ceiling, research university, researching in the things that the presidents of the Big Ten are interested in, like genome and genetics and healthcare. This is very important to the Big Ten and to the Southeastern Conference. It is. I'm sorry, I don't make the rules. I'm just telling you the peek around the corner in college football. That's all I'm doing. I don't make the rules. I'm not an elitist. You all know me. I'm not an elitist. I don't make the rules. But somebody's got to tell you the truth. Everything is important. What Florida State is about to accomplish is really important. Not just for the university, not just for the community, not just for the people who are going to benefit from the research and the healthcare in that community, not just for the new faculty that they're going to bring in and all the new opportunities with the new students that they're going to bring in internationally, East Coast, West Coast, and potentially conference expansion, it is just really good news. But it is really good news for the Florida State's candidacy for the Big Ten and the Southeastern Conference. It just is. I don't make the rules. And I know I'm going to get hit hard. Greg. None of this matters, Greg. It does. It's not the only thing that matters. I know, we all know that there are great universities doing great things that are not going to get a P2 invite to the Southeastern Conference or the Big Ten. Because they don't have the viewership numbers. It is an athletic conference. It is an athletic conference. But this is what the Florida State University's leadership knew. And Clemson knows it. Everybody knows it. The Southeastern Conference have learned this over the last 15 years. A conference affiliation, and a conference association, a conference by big old universities. The collaboration within the athletic conference leads to collaboration with the research, and it leads to what? More money, more opportunities, and more breakthroughs in research that helps all of us. This is incredibly, vitally important to the presidents. There's a lot of really, look, I think at this moment in time, and we're going to get into it, we are going to get in, because some of you don't know, but Florida State, remarkable news. They're going to get that tightened down relationship with the Tallahassee Medical Hospital. And I strongly believe, I can see it all over the place, that the Florida State fan base, probably more than anybody else right now, because they're in the thick of it. They understand probably more than anybody else right now how important all this is. They see it. They see why it's important. They see why Florida State, as valuable of a university it has been, and it has been, in the capital of the state of Florida. Big research university already, before any of this happened. A huge fan base. Very important to the community, for the state of Florida. But Florida State University is in the eyes, well, out there in the world, it's going to be more, even considered more valuable because of what's going on. And by the way, this was not all. None of this is not okay. Let me explain something. Everything that has happened since well before the settlement, let's just say everything that has happened in the last 2 years or in the last 18 months, none of this was predetermined. None of this was absolutely going to happen. Like, none of this was a fait accompli. None of it. The accomplishments that the Florida State University is doing right now, it might not have happened. Right? None of this was like a shoo-in. So this is a big accomplishment. And I think pretty much now everybody has caught on to how big this is. There is, especially there was no deal done. There was no wink, wink, and a nod and a nod. There was no handshake deal between Florida State and the SEC, between Florida State and the Big Ten, between Clemson and the SEC, between Clemson and the Big Ten, between Miami and the SEC, between Miami and the Big Ten, between Duke and the SEC and Duke and the Big Ten, between Georgia Tech and the SEC and Georgia Tech and the Big Ten, Stanford in the Big Ten, California in the Big Ten, Utah in the Big Ten, Arizona in the Big Ten, Colorado in the Big Ten, Virginia in the SEC, North Carolina in the SEC. None of this is a done deal. There is no wink, wink, nod, nod. But there has been a whole lot of communication to a lot of universities. And those universities have been told, okay, this is the benchmarks, this is what we'd like to see. And it is quite evident that Florida State is achieving, if not all of their benchmarks, a lot of them. Because that university is transforming itself. I did a live show on this, I don't know, last week, the week before last week, the week before last, whatever. And Kansas, Azon the kid, and Kansas been talked to. Kansas has definitely been talked to. No question about it. I think maybe the only disagreement now that lies between myself and most of the Seminole fan base, because I think I get told all the time, Greg, I get it, I understand, you were correct, there was no deal. We're not the first targets, but you know what, we're coming on strong, all that. I think the only disagreement between me and the majority of the Seminole fan base is the following. I don't believe, everything that Florida State is achieving right now, and we're going to talk about it in the back half of the monologue, the big news coming out of today. But that just is not, it's not just a Big Ten type of thing. It's a Southeastern Conference type of thing. It is good for both. It is bigger news. This, to me, now, yeah, this isn't just a Florida State, the Big Ten possibility. This is what the Southeastern Conference wants to see as well. It just is. It just is. So, and it isn't just a Big Ten SEC type of thing. For example, and I don't want to go down this rabbit hole. I do not want to go down this rabbit hole. I'm going to take a couple steps into it, and then I'm going to quickly get out, because we've got an absolute stack show today. This live show is going to go longer than 2 hours. Sorry, not sorry. We got a lot of college football to talk about. We got a lot of Florida State to talk about. We've got games to talk about. We've got hot seat lists. We got hot board lists. We've got all these type of lists. We are going to get it through it together, okay? But just for an example, let's say in the next, let's just say in the next 18 months, there is an ACC implosion. The Southeastern Conference does a big scoop or a small scoop. I think they're going to go big. I could be wrong. The Big Ten does a little scoop, or maybe a big scoop. I think a little scoop. I could be wrong. Could be a big scoop. But whatever happens, the ACC is probably going to have to backfill. Probably. Most likely. It's very hard to, we have no idea, right? But maybe they're going to have to backfill. They may get poached by the Big 12. Maybe the ACC can take those exit fees and poach the Big 12, get them under the ACC network, whatever. We don't know. Maybe those two conferences, maybe the 1961 Broadcasting Act, whatever, gets flipped on its head, and the Big 12 and the ACC can kumbaya together, whatever left over, and they can do one big media deal together, and who knows? But what I'm trying to say is eventually there's going to be schools that are probably going to be part of a backfill, and they're going to get kicked up. And some of those candidates, it isn't going to just be about the eyeballs. It's not going to be just about the viewership. It's not going to be determined the difference between this G6 school getting 500,000 views on their peak games and this G6 school gets only 325,000 on their top level games. So therefore we take the 500 over the 3. No, there's a lot more to it. Schools such as the University of South Florida and Tulane, they're going to be looked differently. They're going to have a step ahead. They just are, because of the universities they have and the collaboration and these presidents rubbing elbows. So it's not just a Big Ten thing. It's not just an SEC thing. It's just one of those ingredients that you have to put into the pot when you're trying to figure out what is about to happen. And the Florida State ingredient has become a lot more valuable in the SEC pot, their soup, and the Big Ten soup because of what just happened, what was just announced today. So we are going to go through all of it, but we've got a lot to get to, and we got a very generous super chat. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. Wow. Ricky Tungate, Mr. Hoosier. Whoever wins Saturday, I want them to finish strong. So tired of the same teams. Ricky Tungate is talking about the following game. Let's put it up on the board. Illinois at Indiana. The Hoosiers are favored by 5.5 points. NBC, no, is this peak? No, this is NBC. NBC, 7:30 Eastern time. The Hoosiers and the Fighting Illini. Baby, I'm very excited about this game. Who am I going to take? Well, I'm not going to say today. We're not making our picks today. We're making our picks tomorrow, but this is one of the games we're going to go through here real quick. Boy. This is such an important game. And you know what? It's even more important for Illinois than it is for Indiana. If Illinois can win this road game, but both programs, this is a massive game because everybody understands this is a very talented Indiana team. Very talented. And the Illinois team is senior laden and they've got a lot of talent. That is a big, big game. We got a lot of big games to look at here during this monologue. We will get to it. Ricky Tungate, thank you so much for your generosity. Thank you for starting us off today with such a massive super chat. Thank you, sir, Mr. Hoosier. We're going to talk more about this game today and tomorrow, when we make our picks, I don't know what the PATC Einsteins, I don't know who they're going to take. Illinois or Indiana, I don't know who I'm going to take, to be honest with you. I don't know what I'm going to do. 5.5 is a lot of points. It's a lot of points. It's a lot of points. Ricky Tungate, I want them to finish strong. So if the Fighting Illini defeat Indiana, it sounds like Tungate is going to be rooting for Illinois to get into the playoffs. That's what it sounds like, Mr. Hoosier. Let me know in the chat room if I got that wrong. The winner you are supporting. The winner you are supporting. Vox Quindaro, thank you, Ricky Tungate. We self-identify as PATC Gridiron Einsteins. Okay, I'm going to change the name. I am going to change the name. PATC Gridiron Einsteins. The Big Lubbock is in the house. Tu Mazda is here. Greg, ratings, Greg. I got the keys. Keith Moore is in the house. Rowan Phillips, Bob Swinger, Jay Chapman, Florida Man. The Florida Man is in the house. Tough Tony. The truth, I can't handle the truth. I can't handle. You want to know the truth, Tony? Let me show you the truth. Man, my DMs are all. I've got like 75 messages. I apologize to everybody that I haven't gotten back on in the message board. I mean, in the DMs. Okay. So many have, I have read them. I'm going to read them all. I do apologize. Look at this, Tough Tony. Look at this. When the Gophers were up 14-10, when we finally got the lead over the Golden Bears, we punched that ball out. Remember that? And the running back of the Golden Bears' knee was on Coy Pirch's chest. We recovered the fumble instantly. And the ACC refs refused to review the play. Now, this was my answer to all that. I was very upset at the time, but by the end of the game, even though reviewing this play would have given Gophers the ball, I was too upset with how we played, as in how we did not trust our quarterback to even give this play a second thought. So that's the truth. That is the truth. The truth is the Gophers got outplayed. The truth is the Gophers got beat. Did we get screwed on that? Probably very important play. If we would have gotten that turnover, we would have been deep in California territory, 4-point lead. But we lost. We did not trust our quarterback like California trusted theirs on that 3rd and 7 running play. Absolutely ridiculous play calling by the Golden Gophers. That is the truth. That is the truth. Who else is here? Let me go through this real quick. I got sidetracked. Hold on. Morris Simmons is in the house. Christopher Hooter, go Tigers. Nick Boardman, I'm eating a cheeseburger, Greg, and it is magnificent. No! King Splain is in the house. The architect is here. Stephen Vitt is in the house. D5 Terps Toast is in the house. Azon the Kid. Go Black 45. Chaotic 37. I've been around here enough to know this isn't allowed, but what exactly are you saying? Expedition Greg is in the house. Gene Watson. No deal is done, but Alford is partial to Petiti. Has developed a strong relationship. ESPN is on the outside looking in right now. Cornelius Jones, as a Florida State fan, I always thought it was about a championship in viewership. You have opened my eyes on research dollars because all that goes to the bottom line. right? If a university makes the right collaboration deal to get a federal funding or some other type of research grant, suddenly your university makes $150 million on one project. Well, that kind of blows away the athletic, Dante's Inferno is in the house. Christopher Mercado, the PATC artist. Rod Nix is in the house. Rock and Rant is here. J Go Blue, Adam Vulture, MBM, Deadeye Yo is here. Movie Time Blue, Sean. Rock and Rant, I'm heading to Miami this weekend to attend the Gators funeral. Wow. Shot fired. Elbow thrown. Elbow has been thrown. Where the heck do I have that game? Hold on. Man, I am disorganized. I am completely disorganized. Florida at Miami. 7.5 point spread. 7.5. I'm not going to give it away. I'm not going to give it away. 7.5. Canes fan is in the house. Canes fan is here. Holy smokes. Hi, Greg. Please make sure to pick the Gators this weekend. Wow. You non-believers out there. You non-believers. George Holton, Osceola Trucker. Thanks for coming on in. I appreciate it. Illini Ted, Illinois. Let's go. Skaven, yes. Yeah, we're going to talk about Nebraska, Michigan. We are going to talk about the Cornhuskers. How many? Look. Skaven, yes. Answer me this question. Michigan is rated in the top 25, correct? Chat room? I think Michigan is like 21, right? Correct? How many games in a row have the Nebraska Cornhuskers lost to a top 25 ranked football team at the time the game was played? 21? I think it's higher than 21. I think the number is 27. Skaven, yes. I can't count that high. So the point has to be made here. Skaven, yes. The Cornhuskers. It was Georgia Tech's time last week. They needed to climb up the rock. They needed to beat Clemson. They needed to do it. They got it done. Nebraska, this is your time to break the streak, to finally beat a ranked team once again, to go 4-0, to be 1-0 in the Big Ten, not to start in a hole, to be out of that hole. This is it, Nebraska. This is it. This is your time. Go get it. Go get it, Skaven, yes. Go grab the brass ring. This ain't the game, Greg. Wow. All right. Okay, let's go. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. I appreciate it. We've got a lot to talk about. We are going to go back into the Florida State. Big news. Just humongous news. Now, I'm just going to go through a little bit of this. Again, we're going back into the Virginia Tech situation. This was Pete Knuckles on 3. I just took a little bit of the article of today. It can be a good job, but what are the resources going to be? An industry source told on 3. It's the same question asked about UCLA. After speaking with sources the last couple of days, here is what you need to know. Again, on 3 reporting, Pete Knuckles, on 3 reporting about Virginia Tech's situation here. Sources have told on 3 that Babcock will be a part of this hiring process. Since this article was published, we have heard a little bit of a different story here at Peek Around the Corner. We don't think he is going to be a part of this process, but whatever. Let's continue. Who will chair the hiring search remains undetermined. Sources have said Virginia Tech has just started preliminary reaching out to potential candidates. At this point, a hire before November would be a surprise. The candidate criteria. Sources have stressed that most important requirement any hire will have is head coaching experience. Hiring a sitting head coach with experience navigating NIL and transfer portal will be a positive, but the Hokies will be open to hiring a head coach who has experience but is off the sideline this season. Having a resume that has a consistent history of winning will also be critical. The Hokies want a proven winner who knows how to structure a program. Here's how I'd like to put it, an industry source said. It's great to have a flashy coordinator. It's like having a top chef in a restaurant. But you know who runs the restaurant? The general manager. That's what a program like this needs. Money matters. Virginia Tech Athletic Director Whit Babcock told the institution board of visitors in August that the $122 million athletic budget is not up to snuff in the ACC, and it needs to be closer to $200 million. So finally in the article, the top group of 6 names that could be looked at include Memphis, Ryan Silverfield, Southern Miss, Charles Huff, Toledo's Jason Candle, Liberty, Jamie Chadwell, Western Kentucky, Tyson Helton, Texas State, G.J. Kent, and USF Alex Golish. All have won at the G6 level. Golish is expected to be one of the hottest names in a busy coaching carousel this fall. As for the wild card, Michael Vick. First season at North Fork State. Sources have told On3 that some Virginia Tech boosters pushed Vick to get the coaching experience so he could take the job in Blacksburg down the road. He's 1-2 to start the season. Barring Vick winning the final 8 games of the season, it feels unlikely he lands with the Hokies after only 1 season of coaching. Okay. So we have spent the day yesterday, and this is why we did not produce a Virginia Tech hot board list 1.0 yesterday, because I wanted one more day. I wanted to stall just a little bit longer. But now I feel comfortable enough, and we have really hit these the last couple of years. A lot of it has been good fortune. Some of it is because we poke and prod and doors were open to us, but we have hit on these quite a bit. So this is our hot board. And again, we at PATC, if you're new to the channel, by the way, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. If you love coverage of national college football, please subscribe to our channel and turn on the notifications. But we at PATC, Peek Around the Corner, we do not provide a 10-name list, a 7-name list, a 5-name list, a 4-name list. At the very most, we offer up 3 names. And this is Hot Board 1.0. So in a couple of days, if I hear something different, we would have a Hot Board 2.0, and the names might change. But I don't feel it does any good to provide 10 names, because I don't think that at the end of the day says anything when you provide that many names. So this is who we got for Virginia Tech. we've got two names. I did not feel comfortable enough to add a third name. In a couple of days, next week, next month, I might have a third name. That third name could come up to the top of the list. But for right now, I've only heard of steam with two names. Number one on the hot board list, 1.0 hot board, PATC, for Virginia Tech is Alex Golesh of South Florida. Here's the problem. Here's the problem with Alex Golesh. He's going to be in very high demand. So ultimately, I might have to take the name off this list. I might. Because this list, to me, is a confirmation of interest from both sides of the aisle. If I feel that a candidate has an interest from the university and the university has interest in the candidate, both have to be there for that name to be on that list. The problem with the Alex Golesh candidacy for Virginia Tech is he's going to be on everybody's list. Almost everybody's list. Almost everybody. So Alex Golesh is number one, and that name might fall off. Number two, Bob Chesney. Bob Chesney. So James Madison. Number two. We do not have a number three at Virginia Tech. And quickly, I just want to talk about UCLA. UCLA, I've got two names. I could not go to a third name as well. Not yet. The number one on UCLA list, the name that has been mentioned to me with the most, I would consider, positive traction to be an upper tier candidate is the former Northwestern head coach, Pat Fitzgerald. He did a remarkable job at Northwestern. He did more with less. It sounds like, from what who has talked to me, is that Pat Fitzgerald would be interested, even though it's going to be one hell of a challenge. One hell of a challenge. And he's not going to be all that. I don't think he's going to cost that much money. I mean, Northwestern just gave him a boatload of money on that court case. Whatever. I think if he's up to the, I think he's number one for UCLA right now. And I don't know how many other opportunities he's going to get this coaching cycle, this coaching carousel. So I think he would be aggressive in trying to get the UCLA job. Number two, and I'm probably going to get, this guy has been mentioned today in public. I think Dave Aranda is going to be on the list. Yeah, I know he's gotten in some trouble here at Baylor. But I think Dave Aranda is from Southern California. He's right in the area. And I've heard that he would probably have interest. So those are the two names. Rod Nix, Tyson Helton is going to be on people's list. Jason Cando is going to be on people's list. But those are the names. Dan Mullen is somebody that might make the UCLA list, but I couldn't quite put him on there yet. That's correct. Yeah. Fitzgerald could be moved on immediately because he's currently unemployed, which is one of the reasons I've got him number one. I don't know who Drake Toll is. Drake Toll loves him some Aranda. I wanted Mullen before they hired Pry. All right, guys. So that is our hot board list. For Hot Board 1.0, Virginia Tech, Alex Skolish, Bob Chesney. For UCLA, it's Pat Fitzgerald and Dave Aranda. And when there's an update, when there's a name that's being told to me, I'm going to give it to you as quick as I possibly can. Give you the quickest peek around the corner in the business. So those are the Hot Board 1.0 for both of those coaching vacancies. Now let's get to the football games that we are going to be making our picks against the spread come tomorrow, Wednesday, and then we're going to talk about Florida State. Then we're going to talk about Florida State. Big, big day for Florida State. Hold on. So these are the games we're going to be making our picks. Week 4. The PATC Gridiron Einsteins. You guys are 18-28 against the spread. 18-28. Greg the Cooler is 21-25. So we got to get on track here. Okay? We got to both get on track. Drake Toll is the lockdown Big 12 guy. Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. His last name should be Troll. Okay, so his last name is not Troll. Drake. Got it. Yeah, I do not have Tony White going either one of these jobs. I don't have Tony White going either one of these jobs. But Tony White, I don't know. You guys know how I feel about Tony White. He should have gotten a head coaching job during his tenure at Nebraska. But he did not get one. So he went to Florida State, and someday soon, Tony White is going to be a head coach in an Autonomy 4 program. He's not going to stay at Tallahassee forever. All right. Arkansas, Memphis. Arkansas lost a close one to Ole Miss. They only lost by 5 points. They covered the spread. Memphis, this is Memphis' opportunity to say, look, we are also a candidate to get a G5 berth into the playoffs. I don't want to say much about this game. I'm hot. I run hot and cold on Memphis. I'm not a believer in the quarterback, but I am a believer in a lot of things that are going on with the football program. Arkansas, Sam Pittman. Let me show you real quick here. This is the PATC Heisman Watch heading into week 4. This is a new list. This is the new updated list. I've got John Mateer, number 1, guys. Oklahoma Sooner quarterback. I've got him number 1, baby. Number 1. He's moved up to number 1. Jeremiah Smith has moved down to number 3. Carson Beck is playing brilliantly for Miami. He's number 2. I had to put Tommy up there. Tommy Castellanos, he is number 4. And I don't know how many are you going to yell at me about Marcel Reed, but come on. Did I expect to be putting Marcel Reed on the Heisman watch list? No. But you could tell right when the season started, Marcel Reed, you could tell he has developed. He's at a different level. He was at a different level before the Notre Dame game. We talked about it. And the proof, look at what he did. Look how he looks. Marcel Reed has to be on the Heisman watch list. Just like Cam Ward, just like Bo Nix before Cam Ward, Marcel Reed is telling me, fat guy from Minnesota, you are a moron. You are a moron for not believing in me. Well, I'm believing in you now. You are number 5. So that is the Heisman watch list going into week 4. The head coach hot seat. Now remember, we did have Mr. Pry and Mr. Foster on our hot seat watch list last week. They both were on the list. One was at number 6, Deshaun Foster, and Pry was at number 2. This is our hot board week going into week 4. Billy Napier, number 1. Mike Gundy, number 2. We still got Sam Pittman in there. So we're looking at Arkansas and Memphis. Arkansas, you need to win this game. Razorbacks, you need to win this game. You just do. Sam Pittman, number 3. Trent Dilfer, UAB, man. Holy smokes. They barely beat a not a good Akron team, guys. I mean, really poor Akron team. I mean, at the bottom of the map, the bottom Akron team, UAB just got by. Trent Dilfer, he's in a whole lot of trouble. Luke Fickell is on the list. And no, this is not a Golden Gopher shot at a bat. Well, did my biasness play into it a little bit? Maybe. But I think, look, we got a Wisconsin-Maryland game we're going to talk about. Is Wisconsin going to win that game? Are the Badgers going to beat the Terrapins? Are they? Okay, I think it's time to put Luke Fickell on this list. I'm going to get yelled at by some PATC family members. And that's okay. That's what I'm here for. I'm here for you all to tell me how wrong I am once again, but I got to have Luke Fickell on the hot seat list. I don't think there is... I don't think there's another option. And this is the first time that Tony Elliott, Virginia head coach, is on the list. But I got to tell you, I think this is the one head coach, Tony Elliott, who is, in my opinion, is or will be affected, impacted by this next wave of conference realignment. It may be a little bit unfair, but I think, I've talked about it before. The people who talk to me, the doors that have been open. We said it in June 15th of 2024. Virginia is right there with North Carolina. There's reasons why these presidents want them. We've talked about it. You can agree, disagree. That's all fine and good. But Virginia is probably going to make a move. And I will say this. I think when Virginia does make their move, the hot board list, the 1.0 Virginia Cavaliers PATC hot board list, I think the top two names are going to be, let's put it this way. I think they're going to be high profile names. I ain't saying, but I'm saying. I think they're going to be high profile names that might have gotten washed out somewhere else. And anyway, so Tony Elliott, good guy, great coach for Clemson. I think Virginia is going to have the itchy trigger finger to replace Tony Elliott. So he's got to be on the list. Okay, so let's go back. I apologize. I will not go off the beaten path once again. We're going to get through these games. We're going to talk about them real quickly, and then we're going to get to the big Florida State news. But I had to bring up the hot seat list because Sam Pittman's still sitting at number 3, and Arkansas is traveling to Memphis. They're right next to each other. Arkansas at Memphis, big game for the Razorbacks. They need to win this game. Luke Fickell at home, you need to win this game. The Badgers need to win this game. After that beating from Bama, they got to go home. They've got to win this game. No ifs, ands, or buts. Look at the Badgers' schedule. They need to win. If they lose this game, Fickell is going up on the hot seat list. He might be all the way up to number 2 on the hot seat list. SMU, TCU. The Horned Frogs are feeling it. The Horned Frogs are getting confident. The Horned Frogs believe they're going to get to the Big 12 championship game and they're going to go to the playoffs. SMU, ACC, TCU, Big 12. Ooh, boy. Big Fox noon game to Texas Tech Red Raiders versus the Utah Utes. Devin Dampier, the Red Baron Morton. Boy. So whoever wins this game is going to be the horse out in front. And everyone's going to be chasing that lead horse. Everyone's going to be chasing that lead horse. Massive, massive game. Who are the PATC Gridiron Einsteins going to pick in that game? Michigan and Nebraska, we talked about it earlier. Nebraska, I believe, have lost 27 straight games to ranked teams. This is it. Dylan Raiola is healthy, and he's playing at an extremely high level. This is it. Bryce Underwood is 18 years old. He doesn't have the weapons. This is it. Michigan's got a big old defense. They're going to be charging, but Dana Holgerson is going to have the game plan. This is it. Nebraska, time is now, and they're playing at home in front of 90,000 lunatics. This is it. This is Nebraska's time. And we are going to pick this game tomorrow. So let it marinate. Let it marinate in your gridiron Einstein brains of yours. Tulane and Ole Miss. Great. How can you have this game on the list? Great. We know you don't like Ole Miss. We know you think they're soft. Yeah, they're soft. Sorry, Rebels, but you're still soft. And I think, I don't want to give it away what I'm going to do. You all know what I'm going to do. The Green Wave are definitely going to cover this game. Are you kidding me? Tulane plus 11.5. 5-star Greg the Gold Lock. Auburn, Oklahoma. Who do we got at number 1 on a Heisman watch list? You know it. I've already shown it. John Mateer. Who do I not have? I don't have Jackson Arnold. I don't have Cam Coleman. I don't have Eric Singleton. I don't have Aldrich, the great defensive end. Auburn has got some dudes. Oklahoma Sooners got Deion Burks. Fascinating game. Boy, this is a big game for Brent Venables. This is a big game for Hugh Freeze. Whoever wins this game is going to be feeling real good. Real good. UCF at North Carolina. Again, if North Carolina wins this game, I got to sing the North Carolina Tar Heel fight song during our Sunday afternoon aftermath show. Because of the generosity of Preston from Greensboro, North Carolina, I've already sang Carolina in My Mind by James Taylor, but Preston from North Carolina puts in another big donation. So if North Carolina pulls the upset against UCF, I gotta sing the North Carolina Tar Heel fight song. So buckle up, get the pets out of the house, hit the mute button. North Carolina State and Duke. North Carolina State and Duke. I don't know. Look, the Wolfpack are 3-0. They're winning these close games. It's a 3.5-point spread. Duke lost 2 games in a row. What do you think, guys? What do you think? What about West Virginia and the Kansas Rock Chalk Jayhawks? The Mountaineers come back and they win the backyard brawl. An emotional game. An emotional game. Is the Mountaineers drained of emotion? Are the Mountaineers going to be ready to play this game? What about the Jayhawks? Riding high and then they lose an emotional game to the Missouri Tigers. Who's going to be able to step back and push that last game away? Who's going to be able to perform at kickoff? The Jayhawks or the Mountaineers? It's a pretty big spread. Pretty big spread. South Carolina and Missouri. You know how I feel about Missouri, right? You know how I feel about Missouri. I fell in love with Missouri. I took her out. We dated during the off season, just like I did with North Carolina State the season before. I took Missouri out. I gave her a box of chocolate, gave her some roses, and we got married. We got married in late August. I got Missouri coming in 4th. I pushed South Carolina downward because I believed a little bit more in Missouri. And then when it comes to the playoffs, I squeezed Missouri into the playoffs as the 11th seed. In South Carolina, doesn't quite make it. And so far, the season has played out. Well, South Carolina has not been playing as good as I thought they were going to play. And Missouri, I think, is playing a little bit better than I thought they were going to play. Can Missouri, 11.5-point spread, that is a lot of points. A lot of points. Is Lenore Sellers healthy enough to play this game? Will the Gamecocks offensive line finally have a decent game? And then, well, even though I love Lenore Sellers, even though I love Stewart, even though Nick Harbor is an upcoming wide receiver, the best player on the football field is not going to be wearing a Gamecock uniform. The best player on the football field is going to be wearing a Missouri Tiger uniform, and that's running back Ahmed Hardy. That's reality. Florida at Miami, 7.5-point spread. Seven-and-a-half-point spread. That's I'm going to be honest. I'm not trying to fool you. It seems a little low. Have you watched any Miami games? Defense is even doing its job. Offense has been brilliant. The defensive line, Ruben Bain, has been brilliant. The offensive line has been brilliant. 7.5 point spread? Something doesn't smell right to me. I'm going to call this the cheeseburger game. You can smell it. There's a piece of cheese on that glorious meat. They've got melted cheese in this game. They got melted cheese on the hamburger. Something ain't right about that line. I don't know if I'm going to fall into the cheeseburger trap or not. I know you guys are. Washington at Washington State. 20.5 point. Now, it looks like, the Huskies should blow the Cougars out. It's a rivalry game. BYU, East Carolina. The Pirates are feeling pretty good about themselves. BYU have every reason to feel pretty good about themselves. If you've noticed, I do not have Kalani Sitake, the head coach of BYU, on either Virginia Tech or, even more importantly, I do not have Sitake on UCLA's list. Not yet. And I don't think I'm going to put him on there from what I've heard. But I'm going to keep a close eye on it. BYU Cougars, 7.5 point spread on the road to East Carolina. This is really the first competitive college football game that Bear Bachmeier is going to be playing in for the BYU Cougars. Right? This is the first game, right? Competitive game. Illinois at Indiana. We talked about this earlier because of the massive super chat by Mr. Tungate, Mr. Hoosier. This is a massive game. NBC, 7:30 Eastern Time. Illinois, Indiana, two top 25 teams. Illinois is rated number 9. The winner is going to get the edge over the other when it comes to trying to secure a college football playoff berth or even trying to get to the Big Ten championship game. Indiana made it this year. Illinois wants that spot. This is a massive game for those two programs and their fan base. This is such an important game. For Brett Bielema, this is it. You're talking about Georgia Tech of last week. You're talking about Matt Rule in Nebraska this week. Brett Bielema, this is your best team. You're not going to have a team this old probably ever again with this much experience. Fighting Illini, this is it. Go beat Indiana. Go beat Indiana. JKS. No, I still can't pronounce his name. Sagapulalatete, but I can't pronounce his name. No disrespect. But the kid can play, man. He's going to be a superstar. California true freshman quarterback. But he's going on the road. He's going on the road to Snapdragon Stadium. 12.5 points. 12.5 points. That's a lot of points. That's a lot of points. Michigan State at USC. 17.5. Again, I don't want to give anything away, but this has backdoor cover written all over it. Do you think USC's defense can stop Michigan State with 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter from scoring that touchdown to cover the spread? USC minus 17.5. I've got a lot of respect for USC's offense. And I can even get behind the defense. But Aiden Childs did some stuff, man. Aiden Childs is growing up. The quarterback for the Spartans. Okay, so those are the games that we are going to be making our picks next week. All right, those are the games that we are going to be selecting. So, I mean, not next. We're going to do it tomorrow for this weekend's games, I should say. Tomorrow we make the picks. Super chat, Kenneth Maynard, the Pirate. BYU is about to run into a buzzsaw at ECU. 52,000 gold out sellout in Dowdy Ficklin Stadium. No quarter given. Walk the plank. Walk the plank. Walk the plank. The Pirates are the dark horse in the American.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Wow. BYU. Again, Bear Bachmeier has to go into that stadium with those crazy East Carolina Pirates. I don't want to say anything. I don't want to give anything up. I don't want to give you guys a little bit of a peek on who I'm going to take in that game. Because this week I'm going to be Greg the Gold. This week I'm going to be Greg the Gold. Kenneth Maynard, thank you for the super chat. Very much appreciate your generosity. Thank you so very much. Very excited. If you're at the football game and I'm doing another watch party at the same time, please check in and give us a comment. Let us know the vibe that is going on in the stadium, the Pirates vibe that is going on. Okay, we are going to talk about, thank you, Kenneth Maynard. Thank you for your generosity, as always. We are going to be talking about Florida State here. And Kerry Gold Knowles, Mr. Seminoles. Greg, I just want to give you $100 tip for the cooler for Florida State versus Miami game. It's a great tip, not a bribe. You can do it, Greg. Thank you for the super chat. Kerry Gold Knowles. I don't know what I'm going to do about that game. And I'm definitely going to be Greg the Gold going into that week. So, I ain't saying, but I'm saying, you want me on your side, Kerry Gold Knowles. You want me on your side going into that game. Thank you for the $5 holla. I appreciate your generosity as always. Thank you so very much. Thank you, Kerry Gold Knowles. And by the way, we got to talk about it now. Yes, we do. Big news today. Florida State. Holy smokes. Florida State University news. Direct from Florida State University. Florida State and Tallahassee Memorial Healthcare join forces to establish Academic Health Center. Published today. Florida State University and Tallahassee Memorial Healthcare, TMH, have approved the structure for a historic partnership agreement to create an academic health center in Tallahassee, a development that will transform healthcare in North Florida and expand Florida State's mission in education and research. Richard McAuliffe and Mark O'Brien, TMH CEO, they put out a joint statement. By uniting TMH's longstanding commitment to community care with Florida State's mission of academic excellence and service, we are seizing an extraordinary opportunity to shape the long-term future of healthcare in North Florida and beyond, they said. This partnership will elevate the quality of healthcare for our community, create dynamic educational pathways for students, and foster groundbreaking research. The TMH Board of Directors voted unanimously Monday to proceed with the framework for the partnership, marking a pivotal moment for healthcare, research, and education in North Florida. Additional definitive agreements must be finalized in the coming months. So it's going to take a while. The idea of transforming TMH into an academic health center has been under discussion for more than a decade. The TMH Board of Directors first outlined the vision in its 2008 strategic plan. The hospital has since added multiple residency programs in internal medicine, general surgery. In 2001, the TMH and Florida State boards jointly approved the Florida State TMH Academic Health Center Strategic Alignment Plan, which laid out plans for academic health partnership. The partnership further builds on momentum of the Florida State Health Research Center, launched in 2022 with a $125 million appropriation from the Florida legislator and Governor Ron DeSantis to expand healthcare access and innovation across North Florida. Construction is underway on this facility on the TMH campus. The 140,000 square foot building, expected to open in 2026, will house clinical research space, a family residency practice, laboratories, and other facilities designed to connect research and patient care. Florida State and TMH have now advanced that vision through this memorandum of understanding that formally establishes the framework for a fully encompassing academic health center. Under the agreement, Florida State and TMH will work with the city of Tallahassee on the transfer of hospital assets to Florida State, including a 75-acre property, 2 million square foot hospital building, and related assets. It is anticipated that Florida State will then lease the assets to TMH under a new 40-year lease and operating agreement. Okay, there is more to it. I will provide a link in the description box below the video. There is something that I need to explain once again, and this is a prime example. A very prime example. Yes, this has been discussed for years. True. This is a huge step for Florida State. It absolutely is. Absolutely is. Taytown Hawk, Rumble ain't a rumble without me, KU Outsiders. Thank you for the $2 holler, Taytown Hawk. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. So let me explain something here. This is a great example of a potential scenario that's going to play out. Number one, let's clear this because we got people joining us right now. A lot of people, new people joining us. This is a big news for Florida State. Huge. They know it. You know it. Everybody knows it. Now everybody knows how important this stuff is to presidents, not only in the Big Ten, but the Southeastern Conference. It just is. Because the Athletic Association can bring on more collaboration. It happens all the time. It's been happening in the Big Ten since 1896. It just does. They share the libraries. They share faculty. They share researchers at time. And they share in federal grants. And that brings a whole lot more money than these media contracts. You all know that now. After watching the show for a long time, a lot of you PATC family members, we all know this, okay? Something I want to say once again. You don't need to be an AAU member to get a Big Ten invite. You don't. You don't. You don't. And this is a great example. AAU is a private organization, a private club that includes 17 Big Ten presidents and a whole lot of other presidents. It's a member, 60-some members. It's a private institution. It's a private club. They do not hold the veto pen on Big Ten invites. They have their own schedule. They have their own criteria. Yes, if you are a valuable, vital, emerging research university that does a whole bunch of expenditures and you get faculty members, you have to hire more of them, more researchers, more PhDs, and da-da-da-da-da-da, and suddenly you hit the benchmarks of the AAU. They put you up for a vote, and it becomes quite political, and bam, you're in, or you're not. We don't know when the next AAU vote is going to happen. It might not happen for 3 years. We have no idea. I have no idea. This is a prime example. It's going to take Florida State a while to get all this up and running, to really change the metrics, to even trigger hitting the benchmarks of whatever the AAU benchmarks are. It's going to take a while. It is. If Florida State gets AAU entry this coming up spring, when the votes usually happen, or at least it becomes publicly known if you know the new AAU members. If it happens, it's because Florida State has gone over $500, which they have, which hasn't been released yet on the updated list, but Florida State's gotten over $500 in research expenditure. And that might trigger it. But what's going on right now, everything that Florida State's doing right now is a big deal because the presidents of the Southeastern Conference and the Big Ten know that what is in store, what is the future of Florida State as a research university. The ceiling has now gotten higher. And the valuable work of genome, genetics, and that type of research, it's going to be a big thing at Florida State, just like it is right now at the University of Miami and a lot of other Big Ten universities. The faction, the Michigan, the Northwestern, the Minnesota, Wisconsin, of course. This is what Florida State is now becoming. This is why it's a big freaking deal what's going on here. And they know it. Florida State knows it. So this is a prime example. Greg. It's still going to take a while for Florida State to become AAU. They might not become AAU in 3 or 4 or 5 years. I say, so what? If Florida State has the 13 of the 18 Big Ten votes, that AAU requirement is not in the Big Ten bylaws. It's not. And the Big Ten presidents could vote them in. Or the Southeastern Conference presidents could vote them in. My point is, this is a prime example of, no, Florida State does not need to become AAU before they get into the Big Ten. That just isn't reality. I know, I get it. National reporters have said differently. Brett McMurphy, the great Brett McMurphy, a couple of weeks ago on the Ari Wasserman and Andy Staples on 3 show, he said, according to what Big Ten sources have told him, it's these 13 AAU schools that are on the Big Ten candidates list. 8 of them in the ACC and 5 of them in the Big 12. All right? And then it was asked about Florida State, and Brett McMurphy said, well, Florida State believes that they're going to be AAU here real soon in a couple of years, something like that. If Florida State, if Big Ten has the same perception as Florida State that they're going to become AAU, the AAU invite and the Big Ten invite are not working on the same time clock. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't. It could be that the Florida State Seminoles get a Big Ten invite before they get the AAU. It could be Florida State gets a Southeastern Conference invite before AAU. The AAU has its own way of working things. The Big Ten presidents are the minority in AAU. If you add up the Big Ten and the SEC AAU presidents, they're still a minority in the AAU. So they're running on separate, the hamster wheels, there's 2 different wheels and 2 different hamsters that are making the wheels go in the AAU and the Big Ten. So I don't want people, again, a lot of you are going to disagree. I would not get so bogged down on AAU. Are you a school that is clearly going to become a live, valuable, emerging, growing research university doing the research that is important? You are going to become an AAU member at some point. That is the bar that you got to jump. Not the exact vote of AAU. And I know I'm going to get raked over the coals by other college football YouTube channels. But the Big Ten has invited, they have included schools that have not been big, that are not AAU. Michigan State was Big Ten member for 8 years before they became AAU. And the University of Minnesota sponsored Michigan State. Ohio State became a Big Ten member before they became AAU, and Minnesota was pro-Ohio State. It has happened before. It's going to probably happen again. The Big Ten has pursued universities that were not AAU, but they believed at some point they probably will. Notre Dame is now AAU, but the Big Ten had pursued Notre Dame for decades. If Texas and Oklahoma both called the Big Ten, Oklahoma would be a Big Ten university, and they basically today have the same research expenditures as Florida State. They're not quite AAU, but they would have been Big Ten members if they would have called the Big Ten. I wanted to talk about that one more time because people are going to be looking at, okay, is the AAU going to vote this spring? Is the AAU going to... In my opinion, that does not affect Florida State's time clock. What affects Florida State's time clock is the following. College football playoff format. What does it look like? How big is it going to be? How much money are the schools going to make of it? That is going to affect Florida State's time clock. The relationships that Florida State has been able to make in the SEC and the Big Ten, that is going to affect Florida State's time clock. The emergence of the SEC and the Big Ten going to international markets, that's going to affect Florida State's time clock. This battle that is going on between trying to settle, trying to get codification of the trying to get codification of the House versus NCAA when it comes to Congress, when it comes to the SCORE Act, and the forces that are trying to stop it, all that is going to affect the time clock of Florida State and Miami and Clemson and North Carolina and Virginia. The one part of this that I don't think is going to affect the time clock of Florida State is actually the AAU vote. I believe, and I've been talking to people on this forever. This is a big, big moment for Florida State. It brings Florida State in a different level of research. Having a hospital, transforming the healthcare in North Florida, expanding Florida State's mission, which is going to expand their faculty, going to bring in new talent. All that is being looked at by the SEC, the Big Ten, and of course, in a different hamster wheel, the AAU. A big day for Florida State. And it was not certain that this was going to happen. This has been going on for a decade, and it happened now. And it's going to take a while for it to build up. And it's going to take a while for Florida State to be credited with this when it comes to the metrics of the AAU. But I think this is a prime example of something could happen before Florida State becomes AAU. So anyways, I'm going to get to your comments. And I'm going to get to your phone calls. We got another super chat. Town Hawk, never forget the key votes to kick Nebraska from AAU were Big Ten schools. Yeah. Very good point. Thank you for the $5 holler, Town Hawk. Town Hawk, I appreciate it. Very much appreciate it. Georgia actually does decent amount of research, but the AAU snobs are on medical research. Yeah. And one of the reasons why this is such a big day for Florida State. Such a big day. Thank you for the $5 holla. Appreciate it, T-Town Hawk. Movie Time Blues, Michigan State is the template, admitted in the 50s, AAU in the 60s. And again, I'm not saying, look, you guys know what my prediction is. I got Florida State going to the Southeastern Conference. Not a report, just a prediction. My prediction can change. I'm allowed to change because if there's more new information that I receive, there's reasons why I think Florida State's going to the Southeastern Conference. But Florida State is transforming itself. And that's got to be noted. And it wasn't predetermined. I mean, it wasn't... This isn't an achievement. This is an achievement. And it should be celebrated for lots of different reasons. Lots of different reasons. Mostly, for North Florida. All right, let's open up the phone lines. Let's open it up. Talk about any game. Talk about anything you want to talk about in college football. The phone number is 763-260-1333. 763-260-1333.
Call from
Rick.
Rick is on the line. The floor is yours. How you doing, sir?
We're doing well, thanks.
Good.
Yeah, good news for the Seminoles. They're you get to throw another couple of chips into the pot and move up the rankings for schools in the pecking order list for getting into the SEC or Big Ten. But what I was really calling about is yesterday's show that I didn't get to call in for regarding Cody Campbell.
Okay. Yeah.
This guy is too much. The desperate plea that I read in his letter to USA Today, it was almost pathetic. He knows he doesn't have a leg to stand on. He knows the SCORE Act is garbage and going to get ripped apart, and that nobody worth their salt in Congress is going to sign on to codification.
So why are you so upset with them? Because he agrees with you.
No, yeah, but he's useless. He doesn't have any solutions. I do.
Yeah.
You begged for facts.
Yeah.
You called him out for not having facts or offering solutions.
Yeah, I want details. Yep.
I get details.
I know you do. I
get all kinds of details, and you don't like them.
I don't like them because they turn into semi-pro. But I'm going to tell you, I do have to give you credit. I do have to give you flowers. You are the one person that has offered details. Absolutely.
And he doesn't offer details. And he won't, because he's a flim-flam man. Okay? He's selling Alexa in West Texas or something. I don't... nobody's buying this stuff. The people in charge of college football are the Big Ten and the SEC. And that's it, period. That's all there is to it. And they don't want anything to change. The players have never been in a better position in their whole life than they are right now.
Yep.
They don't want anything to change. The players are fine. This nil thing is great. And it's all been going on now for years and years and years.
Yeah.
But the ones who aren't part of the SEC and the Big Ten and the happy players, those are the ones who want change. And you mentioned that yesterday when you specifically said that, hey, they don't want anything to change. Why would the Big Ten, the SEC want it? They're in the catbird seat. And Cody's trying to, and his pals are trying to tap into those resources. And I get it. I understand it. But wanting it is one thing, and being entitled to it is another. No?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so his letter actually, for me, brought up more questions. Example, when he talks about an independent governing body ruling over everything, who are they independent from? Are they independent from the schools?
No, it's him and his greasy fingered friends. That's who. Who else? They don't have any touch into it now, and they're trying to get a piece of it. I mean, this is common sense.
Also,
you have it, I don't, and I want it.
I am serious though. I'm being accused of being against the CBA. I'm for a CBA. There's a couple things on that though. One is I don't want to. How do I say this? I don't want my pursuit of a CBA to become a college football suicide pact, right? It's like when people say, I defend the Constitution, but I don't want to have it be a suicide pact. In other words, I want to make sure there is something there that works when this codification of this settlement doesn't happen.
Well, I got some sad news for you, Greg.
Okay.
There aren't enough lifeboats.
Okay, okay.
So if you want to go down with a ship, you can go down with a ship, but there aren't enough lifeboats for your friends.
Okay, this is one thing I wanna make clear. Those that are for a CBA, a collective bargaining agreement between labor and what we perceive as ownership, the schools and the conferences or the governing body, whatever you want to call it, we desperately need, for those that are willing to support a CBA, like myself, we desperately need some person or body of people or some organization or a faction of schools. We need something to come out and say, these are the details of what we think a CBA would somewhat look like. Because we're not getting that. And we're not getting that from Cody Campbell. We're not getting that from Danny White, who says he supports it, who's the athletic director of Tennessee. We're not getting that. And it's hurting the cause. Because whatever the CBA looks like, Rick, it's not going to look exactly like the NBA. It's not going to look like the NFL. It's not going to look like Major League Baseball. We've got different levels of labor here. We've got people who play football, play basketball that makes revenue, and they're going to need different representation than the swimmers or the track and field. So we need different levels of CBA, in my belief. I don't know, man. Go ahead.
Here's what you got to remember. That's not what the conferences want. They don't want them as employees.
I know that. Yep, I know that.
Well, let me finish. Yep. They don't want them as employees. Therefore, they don't want a collective bargaining agreement. They're happy the way it is.
Yep.
And the players are totally happy right now the way it is. Yeah. They're not beating a fist on the table demanding a collective bargaining agreement because they're happy.
Yeah, they are. For the most part.
Happy, but Cody and his friends.
Yeah.
Everybody is happy except the people who want the Rudy Project. And that's what Cody wants.
Yeah, I think so.
Let them cry.
All right.
And the game goes on.
Yep.
But if they're forced to, if they're going to be able to force their hand, they're going to get a collective bargaining agreement. They're going to become employees. The Big Ten and the SEC are going to join together, and that's going to be just like Major League Baseball's collective bargaining agreement. And the ACC and the Big 12 are going to be just like the AAA collective bargaining agreement. They have a collective bargaining agreement, and it's totally different from the Major League Baseball collective bargaining agreement. But they coexist. Thanks for taking the call.
You got it. Appreciate it, Rick. Thanks for the call, sir. Phone line is open. 763-260-1333. 763-260-1333. Those were Rick words. Cody Campbell, if listening to this program, those were Rick words. Those were not the words of the host of this channel. I don't want any lawyers coming after me.
From
Morris Simmons.
Morris Simmons, Mr. Seminole, the floor is yours. Thanks for calling, sir. I appreciate it.
Hey, how you doing, Greg?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. Today is a good day to be a Knoll.
Yes, it is.
I'm calling in because I see no one have mentioned in the AP poll. I'm going off subject away from Florida State, but I see in the AP poll, I see that Notre Dame is still in the AP poll at 0-2.
Yep.
And they're the only 0-2 school. I mean, they're the only team in the AP poll that is at 0-2. And I don't understand why they even in the poll. There's other schools that they got as honorable mention that is better than Notre Dame. So I don't understand.
Yeah.
And right now, I think it's a problem with the AP poll right now.
I agree. Now, I don't. There probably is some schools that are getting other teams receiving votes that are better than Notre Dame, but I still think Notre Dame is a very good team, and I still think if I was an AP voter, I would not have them in the top 25. But if Notre Dame, if they rattle off a bunch of wins and they're 4-2 and 5-2 or whatever, it depends on how well they played. I probably would put them back in the top 25 because I still think they're a really good team. The top 25, in my opinion, if I was an AP voter, for me it would be a little bit of science and a little bit of art. And what I'm talking about the art part is, the science is who is the most deserving to be in the top 25. And I don't think Notre Dame would be top 25, obviously. But I also think there has to be a little bit of an art there. Not doing with metrics, not doing with saying, okay, this team, I believe, is a top 25 team. They haven't quite shown it yet, but I think they're there. I think they're going to be, I think they should be top 25, and I would weight it a little bit over there as well. Having said all that, I don't think Notre Dame is a top 25 team. I would not have them in the top 25 team, but I think they're probably going to emerge again before the season. I think they're going to squeeze in there. Well, they're still in there. That's correct, but go ahead.
I also have one thing. I noticed in the conversation, on here, that people still bring up the airport there in Tallahassee. And I try to tell people, me being born and raised Tallahassee, look, come to Tallahassee for one of the games. The airport project is almost completed. The road around the airport should already be completed already. So you see where money is being spent in Tallahassee. And like I always say, when you have the state of Florida, the county, and the city back in Florida State, they're going to get where, like you said, they're going to get where they have to go. Yeah. It's going to be either the Big Ten or the SEC, but I lean more to the Big Ten for various reasons, because I think the school itself want to be in the Big Ten because of the academic side of it. Now, on the football side, yes, you're going to have some Florida State fan base that's going to be split. They want to go SEC or the Big Ten. So I would try to tell people, look, the airport project, that's nearly completed already. That's going to be a done deal. That's irrelevant right now. But Florida State will get where they have to go.
Yeah.
That's it.
I think so.
Have a nice day.
You got it, buddy. Appreciate it. Call again, Morris Simmons.
Mhm. All right.
Beautiful. We will be making our picks against the spread. Don't forget tomorrow. If you want to be one of the voters to represent the PATC Gridiron Einsteins, you got to subscribe to our channel and turn on those notifications so you are here live to vote on these games.
Call from
Movie Time Blues.
Movie Time Blues. The floor is yours. Thanks for calling, sir. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I'm looking at this from the Big Ten's perspective. You have mentioned before that there are folks down in the South that are not thrilled with the idea of a blend in the same state of Florida.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm in the Big Ten position, here's what I'll do. First, I agree to take only one school in Florida. So biggest brand, Florida State, so I'll take Florida State. Now I see there's an academics, you could have academic blend with Georgia Tech. That gets into two states. You get Georgia and Florida. You get a lot of talent down there. So it works out great for them. And I stop at 2. So I just get the small scoop, and the impact is minimal. So
go ahead.
Yeah, the impact. So that means that the impact is not going to be as great as if I were to take 2 schools in the same state of Florida. They don't want that, right? You have mentioned that several times already. So that means that, if I'm Georgia Tech, I should be encouraged, because if Florida State gets to that level where the conference is comfortable, and the network's gonna of course pay for it, and now you also only need to do is leave the concerns from the likes of Northwestern and other of the lower level Big Ten schools. That Georgia Tech gets that done.
Yeah. Georgia Tech is it's a complicated candidacy. Georgia Tech is a complicated candidacy. It's in a market that the Big Ten would love to have. Love it. And Georgia Tech is a Big Ten university. And the Big Ten has pursued Georgia Tech before. Here's the thing. Georgia Tech has been pursued by the Big Ten before, and it was pursued by the Big Ten once North Carolina and Virginia both said no to the Big Ten back in 2010. And a lot of people think that that's going to be the same route that the Big Ten takes again. That they're going to pursue North Carolina, Virginia, which I think that is quite evident. And once North Carolina, Virginia makes a decision, and if they decide, yeah, we're going to go with the SEC, then it seems logically that Georgia Tech would be the top candidate, one of the top candidates of the Big Ten, and would say yes to the Big Ten. And that may all happen. I will say this. As on paper, Georgia Tech feels a lot of the Big Ten boxes. I mean, one of the boxes they don't feel is Georgia Tech doesn't quite carry the city of Atlanta. You know, they're sort of the UCLA in the city of Los Angeles. That is a mark against Georgia Tech. But they fill a lot of boxes up, especially if the Big Ten, the city of Atlanta is a city that the Big Ten universities have no problem flying into and flying out of. I mean, it's an international city. But one of the characteristics of Georgia Tech is the following. Georgia Tech is one of the ACC schools that have really don't want the ACC to implode. They are rather, the leadership, the people at Georgia Tech would rather have the ACC stay together, and Georgia Tech would rather be conference mates with North Carolina and Virginia. Now that world probably is going to break up. But I've been told 1,000 times that Georgia Tech really likes. They've been a confident. They have been a loyal, confidant of Virginia and North Carolina. So, if North Carolina and Virginia gets taken by the SEC, you know, at that point, reality is probably going to hit, and Georgia Tech is probably going to have to, you know, say, okay, we're going to be members of a different conference, possibly. So Georgia Tech is they're of different minds, even at Georgia Tech. But I think they're one of the leading candidates to join the Big Ten. I did not believe that a couple of years ago. But I think they are now, and we'll see what happens. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. There has been some discussion that the private schools in the ACC might reform the conference and make it more of an academic entity. So let's say Stanford, Notre Dame, and let's say Duke and others would reform the conference once several programs leave. So that, I'm thinking that may be a possibility for a school like Miami as well. So
yeah,
they could
I don't believe in that at all. No one has ever told me that. I mean, no one that I take. Nobody, no chatter behind the curtain. The people that I've talked to for over a decade believes that, because I brought that up to them. I know that was a certain major point that former PATC family members brought up all the time, but I could not find any evidence of that. Look, Duke is trying to get to the SEC in the Big Ten. Miami's trying to get to the Big Ten. I mean, these schools are doing all they can to try to get in the Big Ten. If they can't get in the Big Ten, then they're going to look at their other options. But there is no like, oh, we want to form an all-private conference because we want to be with our private peers and this is best for us. I think it's a lot of hooey. Duke, go Google it and look at who Duke considers their peers, or Miami consider their peers. There's a lot of public universities on that list. As for Notre Dame ain't going to join no conference that is some privately held conference, or they're not. The reason why look at the schedule agreement that Notre Dame has. It's not with private schools. It's with Florida State, and it's with Clemson, and it's with Miami. That's private. But they're not saying, oh, we got to associate ourselves with private. Notre Dame associated themselves with some private universities in a men's hockey conference, and it did not work for them. So they joined the Big Ten, in which all the schools in the Big Ten hockey conference are big public universities. I think I am not a believer in that. I know a lot of people agree. For whatever reason, that caught on, and people believe, oh, there's going to be an all-private conference that's going to ACC and all that. It just so happens that some of those private universities, Wake Forest and Boston College, may end up being in an ACC that they're going to be backfilling. But I don't think they're going to be sitting there going backfilling with just private universities. They're not going to say to South Florida, we're not going to backfill with you because we want to be a private conference. I'm not a believer in that, but go ahead, sir.
Okay. One final point. This is going to be off topic, but rest in peace for Robert Redford. He was a great actor.
Yes.
And also rest in peace. Remember the one of the members of Supertramp? I think his name is Davies. I'm not sure you've heard of the band, the Supertramp.
Yeah, I've heard of Supertramp. Yep.
Yeah. One of the the two main members died recently. I think that the early part of this month. He was he had hits like Logical Song, Goodbye Stranger. They had some great hits back then.
Yep.
So rest in peace to both of them.
Yep. You are correct, sir. Thanks for bringing that up. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
You got it. Thanks for the call, my man.
All right.
Beautiful. My 92-year-old mother has been in love with John F. Kennedy. And just because John F. Kennedy died in 1963, my mother is still in love with John F. Kennedy. Now, my mother got married in 1955, so her first love of her life was her husband for 68 years. He passed away September of 2023, my father. They were married for 68 years. But my mother's second love was John F. Kennedy. My mother's third love was Robert Redford. So today she's been watching all these things about Robert Redford. My sister, and she's probably listening to this program right now. I will not give the name. I got three sisters. The middle one, by the way, they're all older than me. The middle sister, Sue, she's got at work, she had a memorial of Robert Redford. She had put up a bunch of pictures of Robert Redford around her desk. She took a photo of it, and I went and showed it to my mother. So today has been a difficult day for those ladies who were in love with Robert Redford. Robert Redford, great actor, 89 years old, died today, September 16th, in his home. I think his home was in Utah, I believe, or Wyoming. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Yep, Jose, you are correct. John News, Robert Redford was great in The Natural. Don Scruggs, my mother would have left all of her kids and dad for Frank Sinatra. She said it out loud once. Sold a lot of salad dressing. Absolutely. Yogi Buck, USF is going to the ACC. Yeah, I mean, look, I don't believe in that. I don't believe these private schools that are going to get left behind are going to say, okay, now we're only going to have private schools in the ACC conference. I don't think the media partners are going to want that. I don't believe in that. But you are entitled to your theories. You are entitled to believe in anything you want to believe in. I just got to give you my honest opinion. I do think it's a lot of hooey. All right, I want to thank everybody for joining us. I do appreciate it. A big, big day, a monster day for Florida State University, the Seminoles. Big, big day. We covered it here at Peek Around the Corner. If you missed it, go back to the start, watch it all, the monologue. We put a lot into it. We're going to be making our predictions tomorrow. So please join us tomorrow. If you haven't done it yet, please subscribe to our channel. Turn on the notifications. And smash the like button if you've liked our content today. I want to thank Ricky Tungate, Mr. Hoosier, Mr. East Carolina, the Pirate, Kenneth the Maynard, the Seminole, Kerry Gold Knowles, Taytown Hawk. Appreciate your donations to help us keep the lights on. The great comments, the great phone calls that we received. Thank you so very much. Buckle up. Keep your head on a swivel. I've been telling you for a couple days, we're probably going to have to walk into the Holy Smokes Theater sometime this week. I still believe that. So keep your head on a swivel. Tomorrow we're going to be making our picks, the 14 games that we just showed today. But we may have to make those picks inside the Holy Smokes Theater. The ACC drama, it boils onward. So, again, keep an eye out for the show. And the only way you can really know when we're coming on, you got to subscribe and you got to turn on those notifications. Hit that notification bell. Until tomorrow, from all of us at PATC to all of you, until next time, please, I implore you, please, you all take great care of each other. And as always, God, family, Golden Gophers.